Why do you think that there was no talk of voter fraud after the November 2024 election by Trump or people associated with him? It's almost like a miracle.
What's happening, everybody? David Pakman welcomed Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow and election integrity activist, onto his program, The David Pakman Show. David Pakman questioned Mike Lindell on why he trusts the 2024 election results, whereas he didn't in 2020. Unfortunately for David Pakman, Mike Lindell gave very straightforward, non-controversial, honest answers about what he's observed and didn't play into David Pakman's desire for a contentious gotcha interview. Poor David. Anyway, let's watch David Pakman make a complete ass of himself, again, on his own show. Let's go.
Well, it is a distinct pleasure to welcome back to the program today Mike Lindell, CEO and inventor and founder of MyPillow, known to some as MyPillow, known to others eponymously simply as Pillow. And Mike, we haven't spoken for a while. I do want to recognize and acknowledge that today is an important day for you. 16 years of sobriety today. Is that true?
That is true. 16 years ago today, and actually the cover of my book is where the drug dealers actually took the picture. I had been up for 14 days, crack cocaine, alcohol, and by the grace of God, I prayed and I was freed of all the addictions overnight. It was a miracle in my life, and I talk about it and with my new network, LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. It's free help for anybody in addiction, and that's been my passion.
And really just, I mean, overnight, cold turkey, no setbacks for 16 years?
No, for 16 years. I prayed to God, please free me of the desire for the crack, the cocaine, and the alcohol. And I woke up in the morning, I'm going, wow, this is different. And God bless me. Now, did I go to later on? Did I spoke at many church, many addiction thing. I just dove into it and, wanted to find out why I was an addict in the first place. And you get to that, hence my Lindell Recovery Network came out of that, where people go online, they put in their age and their addiction, and you get so many people, I call them hope matches, are common people, commonality of a person was in your addiction, and it gives you hope. It's like a hope match. So this is what, before all the election stuff, everybody, this was my passion. I was going around to churches and everywhere in the country, prisons. I just came from a prison last week, got in there, and they were just it gives them hope, gives them off of their addictions, and people know it can be done with God. All things are possible.
Well, listen, Mike, there are so many things to talk about.
Before David gives us some laughs, I just want to acknowledge Mike Lindell. What an amazing accomplishment 16 years of sobriety is. He told you how he did it, through God. No matter what demons you're fighting, you still have hope. You can still do amazing things. There is a light at the end of the tunnel if you really want that life for yourself. So anyone out there struggling with something, you're in my prayers. And I know for a fact that if you're willing to put in the work and you want it bad enough, you can have all the things that you wanted that you feel like you've missed out on this far throughout your life. So again, congratulations, Mike Lindell.
Things I'm so curious to hear from you about. And I know you wouldn't filibuster and answer something different or anything. I know you're going to answer all my questions specifically.
I always do, David.
You
come
always
on,
do.
Come on.
Why do you think that there was no talk of voter fraud after the November 2024 election by Trump or people associated with him? It's almost like a miracle. It just disappeared.
No, David, I did. The night of the election, I want to tell you this. I was cornered at 2:30 in the morning by Political, ABC, all the reporters, just like yourself. I mean, every single reporter in this country, I have their direct cell phone number, and they all cornered me. CNN, New York Times, New York Post, the Washington Post, and they were all there, and they said, Mike, so your friend Donald Trump got in. Do you think this election was stolen? And I said, you guys, that my passion has been to secure our elections, get rid of the electronic voting machine. And I said I would not trust any election ever, and I stand by that, ever done with computers. In this election, there was anomalies both ways in down tickets and everything else, and not just on one side or the other. And I said this, and I stand by that. I have been trying to be outspoken, but the media doesn't want me talking about it.
So, Mike,
you
do
asked me
you
that
doubt?
question now.
Do you doubt that Trump really won?
Oh no, 100% he won. And there's one show. There's one thing that was shown by all the cyber guys. The stuff that I have, my election crime bureau. We looked at everything, and everybody's seen that chart of Democrats. No, I'm talking Democrats, and with Obama, it's like 65 million, 65 million. Then it went to Hillary Clinton around 65. I'm just, paraphrasing there. Then it went up to 83 or 81 million for Biden, back down to 63 or 64 with Kamala Harris. Everybody's seen that chart. Something happened in 2020. We all know that. And now you look at other tickets. Remember, David, for 4 years, I have looked at down tickets and helped both Republicans and Democrats.
No, but Mike, hold on. I'm sorry, Mike. You're filibustering. You said you weren't going to filibuster. The question is super specific, which is, this time around, you're saying there was still a voter fraud problem.
Oh, 100%.
But you're confident Trump won.
Donald
In 2020,
yeah. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Donald Trump won by more than what he did.
Ah.
And there was at least 4 senators that were basically taken. Know whether you're going to say, well, they were Republican or Democrat. My reports from my team, I've been very busy. I haven't seen all the reports, and there was 9 congressmen in question, a lot of judges. There's a judge, I think you all seen that in North Carolina. It's going on right now.
Yes.
And they said, hey, you can, we're going to look into these. I'm just very happy that with starting in 2020 and all the way through all the elections up to now, these things are starting to get looked into.
I just read a study that definitively said that anyone that subscribes to this channel will take away a subscriber from David Pakman.
Even though they're not getting media attention.
So let's stay specific, Mike. I want you to give the answer to this question should be the names of states that we recognize. Give me a state that was given to Kamala Harris by the media that you believe Trump actually won.
No. This isn't, the states are not in question there. It's just the number of votes overall. The number of votes, it might have been, it's just like David, I've said before, with any election, if you're going to take an election, it's just like a casino if you skim off the top. Now, if
if I understand what you're saying,
I'm not saying Donald Trump won more states. I'm saying that there are votes that are in question in maybe both ways.
Mike, I want to try to be as specific as possible with you. Earlier in the interview, you said Trump really won, but 100%. In truth, he won by more than what's being reported. So, Mike, but hold on, but Mike, just let me get the question out. Let me get the question out, and then you can answer it. You made a claim 3 minutes earlier that Trump won by more than what's being reported. I asked you, is there any state that he truly won in your mind that was given to Harris? And you said no. So is the argument that he only won the states he won, but he won them by more than what's been reported? Is that your argument?
There's not an argument there. This is just what the data shows. Realize, David, we now have access to cast vote records and stuff. We didn't have access before in 2020. We have total access. If you guys go to the electioncrimebureau.com, my bureau that I have, all these things are coming out now, and you can see all the stats there. I don't believe this is me. I haven't seen it all yet. I don't believe there's any states that are going to be Donald Trump won more. I believe he won more of the popular vote across.
Okay. So to be totally clear, the electoral vote results that we have are completely accurate.
I would say that they probably are. Like I say, David, I don't think there's enough to overturn anything. We have things like, the other elections where that lady got 0 votes in her own precinct, a Democrat. Now we've learned stuff from the last 4 years. So we're checking into all this. The ultimate.
Does any interviewer besides David Pakman preface his first question of the interview with, "Now, I have some questions I want to ask you, and I don't think you'll filibuster or answer differently," or whatever he said. Why does he need to say that? Do you just assume that everyone is a liar like you? It's such an insulting, disrespectful preface to a question. So understand, Mike Lindell's just coming on here to say, hey, election integrity is important to me. I've helped Republicans, I've helped Democrats, and I just want to tell you what I've observed from the data that I've seen from my organization. And Pakman does that stupid thing he always does. Let's get specific. Even though he's answered all of his questions, he does that whole thing. Name states that should have gone to Donald Trump that didn't go to Donald Trump. And he's like, no, I'm not saying that. So after that nice introduction where he acknowledged Mike's sobriety, and Mike Lindell's been nothing but a gentleman on here, it's clear is his whole goal is to make him look foolish by saying, well, Donald Trump won this state. And Mike's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are irregularities, blah, blah. And he said, let me explain. I don't know if you caught it, but it probably angered me more than anything I've seen in this interview. And that's a lot of things. Mike says, well, let me explain. And he goes, oh boy. Why? Why are you assuming he's going to give you some answer that's not true? Because he's not giving you what you want. He's not fighting with you. He's not telling you Donald Trump should have won all 50 states. All he's trying to do is tell you what he's seen from the data that he's seen. You're Mr. Data guy. Anytime you're backed into a corner, you say, what's the source? Where's the data? Where's the poll? So now it's not good enough? Anyway, get ready for more nonsense.
The thing I want, David, is to show both sides. There are deviations in every election. I don't care if it's a Democrat that won or a Republican that won. It doesn't matter. We need to get to paper ballots and count. That's always been my passion. I did change because Donald Trump won. That's why I wanted to come on your show, and I want to make that clear with you too. I have checked in and helped more Democrats in their elections than Republicans were out there. Like what I've told you many times on the show, Democrats in Georgia, where this lady got 0 votes in her precinct. They looked into the machines and they said, oh, it was a computer glitch.
That's right. Yeah. They admitted it was a computer glitch.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. My thing is take let's just say it's all glitches, everybody, a computer error. 132 countries have banned electronic voting machines. I want the United States to have paper ballots and count, like my own Senator Amy Klobuchar, like Kamala Harris, like they all said in the movie Kill Chain. We got to get rid of them, and I want to keep to that. I don't want everything that I've done for 4 years and my teams have done. They all said to me even a week ago when I got on the call, said, Mike, are we done? No, we're not done.
Okay.
What we did is we got through the biggest cover up of the biggest crime in history.
Okay.
We broke through it. Now we should be able to get to the finish line and have our country like 132 other countries with.
I got you, Mike. So I have so many, I have other things to ask you about, but to put just a yes or no on this, I think would suffice. Although you're saying that you have not let up in any way, you have to acknowledge that after 2020, you said the electoral vote count reported then was wrong because the 2020 electoral vote count said Biden won. However, in 2024, while you generically insist there were problems, you're saying this time the electoral vote count was fine. You just yes or no, you acknowledge.
How honorable is it that his passion is election integrity, but in his efforts to achieve that to the best he can, he's helped out both sides of the aisle. It helps out, a side that he doesn't even align with. That's what we should all want. We all want it just to be fair for everyone. Well, some of us want that. I'd say the majority do. And now David's trying to go down this line of questioning. Well, you didn't believe the Electoral College votes in 2020, but now you believe in 2024? My stance is always, I don't know definitively what happened in 2020. However, are you going to sit there and tell me that 81 million votes for Joe Biden, the least energetic presidential candidate in history possibly, that hid in his basement, is not a little odd? Especially when you compare it to other elections? Isn't that right there enough to question the results of that election? And then if that's not enough for you, How about the fact that the FBI colluded with Facebook and the social media companies to bury and ban anyone that talked about the Hunter Biden laptop story and referred to it as Russian disinformation, which we all know now, it's 100% true. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but exit polling of Biden voters after the 2020 election, I don't have the percentage in front of me, I apologize, but a large percentage of them said if they had known that the Hunter Biden laptop stuff was true, they wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. Those are two reasons right there that didn't happen in this election that are pretty reasonable reasons. And then the third and final one is there were election irregularities all over the country in that election, but in all elections, like he's talking about, there's always irregularities. And I said that was the last one, but how about one more? Why in my state, Florida, can we get the polls closed and election results done in, I don't want to over exaggerate it, but what was it, a couple hours? And then you've got like Nevada and Arizona taking days. Like the election's over, Donald Trump won. We still don't know who won those states. It's ridiculous. I'll just wrap up with this. Why is there only one political party that wants to do away with voter ID under the guise that it's racist? Which is maybe one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard in my life. I can't believe anyone even entertains it. But there's one side that wants to do that. We shouldn't know who's voting. There's one party that wants to leave drop boxes like every block of every city. There's one party that wants to extend seemingly endlessly the cutoff time to receive mail-in ballots or ballots in general. There's one party that's always pushing for non-citizens to vote. The only thing that I can think that all of these things that have in common is they're all avenues for potential interference. Let's completely get rid or limit the necessary of those options that I just listed so there's less potential for someone to screw with the votes. Why wouldn't everyone be united on this? There's only one answer I can think of. One party just wants to leave these doors open in case they want to do some funny business. How is this even a partisan thing? I just want fair elections. And I can't speak for everyone, but I think that's what the majority of people on the right want as well. But what did you all think about this conversation between Pakman and Mike Lindell? Anyway, that's it for this video. If you want to see more videos of David Pakman making himself look like an a-hole, there's plenty of them on my channel, but click on one of the two videos that just popped up on your screen. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for watching. The end.